Hello and welcome to this behind the scenes tour of the Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing for Government and Public Sector. My name is Joanne Sweeney and I am the founder of Public Sector Marketing Institute. You're all very welcome. Also, if you're watching the replay, you are also welcome, and make sure to reach out to me if you have any questions that I don't cover in this behind the scenes tour. My aim today is to give you a full and transparent information about the Diploma in Digital Marketing and get a better understanding of how you can equip yourself in the digital age and going far beyond social media and thinking more broadly about digital marketing for public interest messaging and not digital marketing for the private sector or to drive sales. We do know that public interest messaging is very, very different than commercial results when we're thinking about digital comms. So I'm going to spend about the next 45 to 50 minutes bringing you behind the scenes and also answering your questions. So please put your questions, your queries, your comments in chat. We do have an FAQ section on the website that I will direct you to, but you may have other questions that you want me to answer, and please feel free to do that. So without further ado, let's go and get started. So the Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing for Government and Public Sector is a 12-week accredited online course. I don't always deliver this course live, but I am going to be delivering it live on this occasion from March 19th. So that's the difference. Maybe let me give you a sense of Public Sector Marketing Institute and what we're all about and what we're trying to achieve. Well, our mission is to provide accredited and practical training to public sector professionals or those who want to work in the public sector who are delivering and communicating public services across digital platforms. My understanding is that in the main, very many courses and trainings out there around digital marketing and social media are very much focused on the private sector or are generalized to include public sector. But for me, the language, the nuances, and really the public interest needs is very, very different to the commercial landscape. And so we identified that gap. Our vision then is to elevate the standard of digital communications globally in governments and public sector agencies in the public interest. So we very much put the citizen at the center of all of our trainings and of all of our communications with the students who study with us and indeed the clients who work with us. I've been working in communications for my whole career, which is 20 years now. And I've gone from being a broadcast journalist to working in public relations and corporate communications, and then into digital communications and digital marketing from about 2007, and essentially have been self-employed since then. But I've really invested my career, because if you think about my career as a journalist, I went to the local government meetings, I went to the local health board meetings, I was the court reporter, I was on the ground, really at the front line of government and public sector. So I've always had an interest, and I did study politics and sociology as well. And so then going from journalism into communications and public relations and representing those organizations on the front line of media and press, I then realized that digital marketing and digital comms was becoming mainstream. And so I've dedicated the past 12 years to that discipline. And I write books in it, I write studies and reports, and have the Public Sector Marketing Show, which is a podcast and a live show. So we are skilled in this area. We dedicate our time to this sector. And so you're in safe hands. So let's get back to the Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing. Who is it for and why might you enroll? And I'm always very transparent and direct in asking students to really think about their own commitment to taking on a course and what they want to get out of it. And so in order to help you make that decision, I kind of pose a number of questions. So Do you want to transform your skills, your knowledge, your confidence, and your career? For me, all of those are intertwined. And really, the digital age is moving at such a pace that it is overwhelming. I mean, I work in it every day, and I can tell you it is overwhelming. But what takes the overwhelm out of digital and social is structure and having access to trusted resources. And so what I'm saying to you is make Public Sector Marketing Institute your single trusted resource to give you direction, give you support, and keep you up to date, and obviously give you a qualification at the end. But do you want to improve your understanding of digital marketing within a public sector or a government agency or the wider public service landscape? So you could be considering about your career, not now, but in the years to come. Are you working or again intending to work in any area of public services and trying to reach citizens and influence? Now, obviously, you'll think about your line manager, your head of department, maybe your CEO, and you really want to impress them, and they're going to be making the decisions about your career progression. But ultimately, if you are successful on the front line of digital and you can reach those citizens and you can empower them to trust you and give them the knowledge that they need, that's going to have a direct and positive impact on your position within your workplace. So again, putting the citizen at the center. Do you want to have a strategic approach to communications within your sector? And I know I use the word digital intertwined with communications, and at some stage it's probably going to be dropped because digital is mainstream communications. I think we're all agreed on that. But there's still a lack of strategic knowledge and critical thinking around digital marketing in government and public sector. And that's what I want to give you out of this course, that you can step away and then you can step into a boardroom or a Zoom room or a Microsoft Teams room, and you can direct and lead the conversation about what you should be doing in terms of general communications. And that's really what this course gives you, the confidence and the competency to be a strategic thinker. Also to develop your critical thinking when you're problem solving and how can digital support any challenges that we're having. Maybe you want to grow into being a manager, maybe you are a manager already, and you need to lead a team. So you might not be doing the PPC advertising, the email marketing, the blogging, creating the videos, publishing those tweets, but you might be a manager. And so in order to lead a team, you need to understand the outputs and also the deliverables of what they need to achieve. You'll also learn practical and tactical skills. That's always a promise in my course. While this course is more about your strategic thinking, you are going to learn practical and tactical skills like the how to do things, and there's plenty of resources available to you for that. Ambition and career progression should be on your mind. I mean, they're always on our mind, right? If we're investing in our own continuing professional development, then that's a signal that we are ambitious. And this course will definitely help you. And I truly believe that we do not have enough public sector professionals who have these skills. And by creating these online courses, it gives me an opportunity to scale my reach and to reach more professionals just like you. Some people are feeling left behind in the digital age. Maybe you've been working in your government agency or indeed in the civil service for over a decade, maybe 2 decades, and perhaps the digital wave has come and you feel that it swept you along, but you don't really have the critical thinking or the tactical skills in order to lead. I'll bring you completely up to speed. And this is what this course is about. In 12 weeks, you will be brought right up to speed of where you need to be. And then if you're searching, if you go to Google and you search for a digital marketing course, I promise you, if you do this afterwards, you probably won't find one that says public sector or government unless you put in public sector marketing or government marketing. And when you put that into Google, then you should absolutely find us. But a lot of marketers in government and public sector do not realize that this is a thing that you can actually learn about digital, but the language, the approach, the strategies, and the implementation are based on your day job and reflect what you have to do to reach the public. And so I cover all of that. It's perfectly made and designed for this sector. But yeah, go to Google afterwards, see what you find if you just put in digital marketing course. The program is fully accredited, and in fact, this was my very first accredited program. I designed it in 2018. It has been completely redeveloped because digital moves at such a fast pace that I want to make sure that it's current. So it's been completely rewritten, redrafted for 2021, and it is approved by the CPD Standards Office in London, and their accreditation is recognised in 22 countries. So no matter where in the world you're watching from, hopefully this covers you, but reach out to me if you want to find out more. So Amanda Rosenwarn is the CEO of the CPD office, and she attended a virtual graduation of ours in 2020. And I asked her, I interviewed her about the weight and the value of CPD qualifications right now in 2020 and going into 2021. And she said it's always been a real accolade to have, but now with the pace of digital transformation, it really does set professionals apart in the workplace and in their industry. Also to say that this course and the new course is externally verified by Amanda and her team. So everything that you will learn has gone to a third party, and they have looked at all the content, the whole process, evaluation and feedback. So let's have a listen to Amanda.
We look at the entire delegate learning journey. So we look at from the moment a course is advertised through to how somebody buys it and onboards it, the information that they learn and all the resources that go behind that, and then what the kind of long-term sort of evaluation or exam or whatever it is that follows up on that. And then the final one is just looking at how the actual organisation makes sure that that content stays relevant and up to date. So it's quite a rigorous assessment process, as you will have experienced, Joanne, when you went through it. But we're very proud that we have so many providers that have come to us and have passed this very strict criteria that really basically make sure that when somebody is advertising a course or a qualification, so CPD Standards is accredited, it guarantees an absolutely fantastic, positive learning experience. And of course, it's relevant for a CPD record or for inclusion on your CV. We look at
So yes, to make sure that the content is up to date. And as I mentioned, this course then has to be resubmitted to CPD to reflect the changes and the updates in the content. And then I asked Amanda about the value of this qualification on your CV. I often get asked, Joanne, is this an academic qualification? Where does it sit on our national education framework? This is a CPD, continuing professional development accreditation. I also every year complete my own CPD accreditation in the whole area of digital marketing and social media so that I'm kept up to date, and I'm also a practitioner. So I think that you get the best of both worlds. I'm an academic, I have a master's in digital marketing, a master's in journalism, but I'm also a practitioner. So every single day I am practicing what I essentially preach, and I've written extensively on these topics. So let's have a listen to what Amanda has to say on this.
We also run a very large research project with several universities as a partnership. And we found that if you have a CPD section on your CV and you illustrate how much CPD that you've been doing, it makes you about 50% more employable and includes your promotional prospects. They tend to get a lot more positive as well. So the weight of a CPD qualification is certainly sort of gaining pace. It's always been a real accolade to have. But now I think with the world changing at such a rapid pace, it's really important to show that you have a qualification and that it's been externally verified.
Every year I also interview and survey public sector pros in my community. So the most recent one, I asked them a series of questions about their digital skills and their strategic knowledge. And here's what they said. So 61% said they're currently engaged in some form of continuing professional development. 41% said they are willing to dedicate between 2 to 5 hours per month on professional learning. 87% said digital skills are vital to their career progression. So you can see the internal and the personal recognition of how important digital skills are. They see the waves of change lapping at their ankles too, right, in their own organization. And then 32% rated their digital skills as average. So that's like a third. But I want to take, I don't want you guys to be average. I want you guys to be on the front line. I'm not working in public sector, you guys are. And that's where I want to insource the knowledge, empower the team. And actually, there's one line in my book, Public Sector Pro, where I say to senior leaders, do not replace public sector pros who've been working in your organization for many, many years with somebody from the private sector just because you believe they have better digital marketing skills. That's unfair. The intuitiveness and the knowledge that you have by being in government and public sector, it would take maybe a whole decade to teach that. But I can teach what you need to know in terms of digital in 12 weeks. So that's what I say. I say, you know, the people who come on my course, they have 95% of what they need. Okay, whether you're a science professional, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a marketing or comms professional, doesn't matter. I am layering the digital skills on top of your existing knowledge. This can be taught to anyone within a government or a public sector organization. So let's go into the course structure, and don't forget to let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'm going to take those at the end. So here's what you can expect. All 12 sessions, so all of the 12 modules, take place live online on Fridays from Friday, March 19th from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. GMT. So this is a live class. I don't always do this live. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it live after this course, but people can watch the course on replay, of course, and it'll be in the Learning Hub. But for this one will be taught live by me on Fridays on Zoom. Replays of the videos and access to all the teaching resources will be available for 12 months. So while it's a 12-week course, I am giving you access for a full year. Why? Because there are extra resources in there that will benefit you on the job. And also, you'll probably want to go back to various elements of the course to help you on the job. And I'll give you a practical example here. So one of my graduates, Bobby, works in an Irish public sector agency, and he was a graduate of the course. And then in 2020, COVID-19 hit, and he'd already graduated, but he went straight back into the module on how to manage a crisis online, and he refreshed his knowledge on that particular area because he was living through a crisis, because COVID, as we all know, is a pandemic and a global crisis, and especially for government and public sector who are leading the charge. So you have access to the hub for a full year from the date of registration. You'll get your own personal logins, and the hub is fully mobile responsive. So no matter what device you're on, a desktop, laptop, tablet, or a smartphone, it's really, really easy to navigate, very responsive, and the user experience and the interface is brilliant, because I have had many of these over the years, and right now the one that we have is definitely the best. And I haven't had any complaints, and people and students find it really easy to navigate. Also, all modules are accompanied not only with video replays, but with audio replays, because audio takes less bandwidth. Okay, so you can be streaming the audio, takes less bandwidth than the video. Also, some people prefer audio. I'm a real audio person, no surprising, it's the broadcast journalist in me. I also give you a text transcript. So everything that I say in the 2.5 hours of the tutorials comes in a text transcript. What I will say is any conversation that we have will not come in the text transcript. I'll make sure that that is kind of edited out. And you also get a workbook for every module as well. And the workbook is just to aid you. And it takes you, like, each section of the module is in the workbook. And then I'm prompting you and I'm saying, how does this apply in your role right now? How can you apply this knowledge to your day job? Or how can you apply it to a particular project that you're working on? So the workbooks are quite valuable. There are also live coaching calls for extra support over and above the core trainings. They also take place on a Friday, but it's the third Friday of the month from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This is an optional extra. Call it my office hours where I open the door. I'm going to be here. If you want to dip in, if you've got a question, even if you've got a question about what's happening in your working life, you can bring it there. And email support is also available. The coaching calls are not recorded because I want to have a free flowing and open conversation. They are not recorded. But if you miss the live coaching call, you still have a question, it's no problem. Email support is also available. On the completion of the diploma assignment, there is an assignment attached to this course, and I'll get to that. And on completion of all the modules, you will receive your certification and your accreditation, and you're invited to a virtual graduation. Also, all students of this course get a free copy of my book. Why? With this course, why is because this course was developed on the back of this book. And so you will see that in the main, probably about 75 to 80% of the modules that are in the diploma are actually chapters in this book. And it's a really nice book to have on your desk. It's like a handbook. So on registration, I will get a copy of the book posted out to you. So let's get into the modules. This is probably the bit that you've been really waiting for. Module 1 is a digital marketing strategy for government and public sector. We go straight into it. I have developed multiple digital marketing strategies for government and public sector. I do it all the time for my clients, but I have a template digital marketing strategy that we go through in module 1. So we're going straight into it. I will touch on kind of culture and mindset and leadership as a primer to that module, because you need the right environment for digital to be fully embraced. So that's an important starting point. And also, when we get to the assignment, your assignment is going to be a digital marketing strategy for your agency or for a campaign or for a particular project. So by the end of module 1, you have your template, okay? So that's why nobody should fear the assignment, because you're actually given something there as a framework, an actual template to work on. Module 2, then we're going straight into social media and how you would develop a social media strategy for a government agency. And obviously, social media fits into the digital marketing strategy. And I'm also going to go through there at a high level, the role of social media for government and public sector, the main social networks, what you need to be looking at in terms of tactics and features. Now, some of you may know we have a separate professional diploma in social media for government and public sector, and that is 12 modules just about social. So there's kind of one core module dedicated to social, but social is mentioned in the others. So, but just so you know the differentiation. Module 3, keeping with the social media theme, how to manage a government crisis on social. This is one of my favorite topics. I am very good in a crisis once it's not my own. I think that's kind of normal. We're naturally better at dealing with other people's crises, but certainly in a professional capacity, I'm really good at the crisis PR in the digital age. One of my specialist topics, it's a dedicated chapter in my book, lots of original frameworks that I use in my consulting that I put in this course and that I've put in the book that you get access to. Module 4 is new, based on 2021. Again, I've updated the program, as I mentioned, from 2018, and we're going straight into PPC advertising. So either Google ads, Facebook ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, Instagram ads. You need to understand the advertising landscape. Module 5 is content marketing, how we create long form content to make sure that we are the authority voice when we're trying to reach and influence the public, and then how we repurpose it. Module 6 is a really nice module. It's really practical, and it's about how you leverage storytelling in your digital marketing, because really you can do all of the strategic stuff, but if a citizen isn't engaged in how you tell a story, then all of your hard work is wasted. So now into the second half of the diploma. Module 7 is moving from traditional PR and comms to agile digital communications. This is a really important module because in my experience, many government and public sector agencies are stuck here. They're stuck with how do we become agile? How can we be seamless? How can we scale digital across the organization, as opposed to giving social media or giving management of the website to the press team and the comms team who are already overloaded. So again, this is about kind of processes and understanding scalability. Module 8 is dedicated to video. So how to integrate social and live video into public sector communications. Video is critical. It's absolutely critical. I mean, we've been saying this as digital marketers for years, but now even more so. COVID-19 has proven that the level of public engagement on video is unrivaled compared to other types of content format. Another new module introduction into the 2021 program is the role of email marketing and public service communications. It's not being done enough. People are worried about data protection. If you live in Europe, the GDPR regulations, you do not have to worry. What I teach is in compliance with good practice and with European legislation and any other similar legislation across the world. But email marketing is absolutely vital, and I'll be showing you case studies of how it's used to great effect and how you can introduce it and be in data compliance also. Module 10, we're going into measurement, data, and analytics, how to measure success when it comes to digital communications. Module 11 is about work practices. So this is about finding standard operating procedures and team structures that will allow you to have seamless digital comms within your organization. And then finally, module 12, a really nice one to end on. It is my digital toolbox. I open it up and I share with you all the tricks of the trade, all the tools, the apps and the software that I use and that I recommend to my clients on how they can level up digital, but also be more efficient and effective, because we are living through the technological revolution. We have access to artificial intelligence, and a subset of that is machine learning. And that can power up our digital, because that technology can complete tasks far better than we can. And especially when you're dealing with a lot of data, humanly, it's not possible to be aggregating, reviewing, and interpreting the level of data that you're going to have come through all of your digital channels. So the digital toolbox will help you with that. It's a refresh, it's a revamped, some new modules introduced, new structure. It's going to be taught online, live online for the first time. And to kind of reinforce your learning, I've introduced, also new to this, is a module quiz. In the first iteration of this program, there were tasks with each module and no assignment. So again, I've changed it. There will be no dedicated task within each module. There will be a module quiz. So it's a multiple choice quiz. At the end of each module, you have to complete it in order to get to the next one. It doesn't take too long, but what it does is it reinforces the learning, and there are 4 possible answers to every question. And then you get your score at the end. If you want to go back and you've got 8 out of 10, but you'd like to get 10 out of 10, then that's absolutely no problem. You just hit refresh and you go again. These multiple choice quiz does not apply to the final assignment score, but you have to complete them in order to get to the next module. And it's just about testing your knowledge there. And it's really good. Google uses this as a method for their online courses as well. There's also a comment box at the end of each module. So this is an opportunity for you to give me feedback, to ask a question, or to ask a question of your peers as well. So make sure that you use that as much as you want to, because when somebody adds a comment or a question, I get notified immediately. So I will always respond. And remember, your questions are actually helping everybody else, because they will see them and they will see the answers. I mentioned the live coaching on the third Friday of the month. I have what I call hot seats. And if you have a struggle or a big question that you want to take to that 90-minute live class with your peers there, bring it. Email it to me in advance. And what we do is we crowdsource ideas from the group. And this is where the networking also happens, where you get to meet other public sector professionals from around the world who are probably experiencing the same challenges as you. But what they do is we share shared experiences and shared learning. And as I mentioned before, these sessions are not recorded. So if you email me in advance with your hot seat topic, I've put it on the agenda. You get to ask your question and we dedicate as much time as we need to answering it. So it's coaching, but you could also call it consulting as well. We do have virtual graduations. I usually have one a quarter. And what I would say to you is that after completing the 12 modules, and then you probably get about 3 to 4 weeks to complete your assignment. If life happens, if work happens, if you need an extension, it's absolutely no problem. You don't have to worry, because I'm doing about 4 virtual graduations a year. I'll just slot you into the next one. And I always say to my students, we don't do stress here. I'm here to support you. Never feel overwhelmed. Never be afraid to reach out. I want this to be an enjoyable experience. You're committing to learning on top of personal life, family life, and work life. And I understand that. I'm a mother too and run a business. And so I want to make sure that this doesn't become something that you don't look forward to. I want you to look forward to it. You're investing in yourself, you're investing in your career. But if things happen in your life and you need an extension or extra support, I'm here. And so you please don't let anything stress you out. The assignment is going to be an essay. It is going to be a digital marketing strategy for your organization, a project, your department, or a campaign. I'm quite flexible in terms of what you want to strategize for. I'll also do a coaching session if you want to brainstorm your assignment, if you don't have an idea as to what you want to do for it. And remember, you also have the template there. So there's plenty of support. You will have learned enough. You're not expected to add every single aspect of all the modules into it. It will be very much, it should be a document that is then used within your organization. So don't worry about it now. When you get nearer to the time, we can discuss it. So how do you access the replays and the resources? What I'm going to do now is bring you inside our learning hub. So I will stop sharing momentarily and I will bring you into the learning hub. And again, I'm taking questions at the end. If you've got any, make sure that you put them in chat and I will answer them at the end. Okay, so I've got the learning hub and I am going to share my screen again. And I think you can see my screen. Okay. So when you receive your registration details for the Learning Hub and you log in, you arrive here and it'll look very much like this. We're currently finalizing it and getting all of the content in, but you'll come to a landing page like this. It will give you all the details. So everything I've outlined in this webinar will be here. You'll get a link that you should put in your calendar to the additional live coaching. You'll also get a link to our Friday modules. It'll be a recurring link for the 12 weeks. And there's the full interview with Amanda Rosenwern. I played a little bit. All the course modules sit here. You submit your assignment as a PDF here. The brief for the assignment also sits here. There will be other resources that will sit in here. Now, I've brought you inside our other hub for another course, but it will be very, very similar. The look and feel will be very similar. And let's say if I go into a module, how the modules are structured are there'll be an introductory video, you'll have your learning outcomes, and then you'll have the core tutorial video. Now, obviously, I am doing this live. So if you're live, we'll all join my Zoom room, and we will have conversations throughout the teaching. But the replays will also sit here. So you'll see the video replay, the audio replay will be there. You will also get the transcript, and you will also get the slides. And you'll also find, so here you'll find the digital marketing template that will sit there, and any other resources that I recommend. The one thing that I would say to you is when it comes to resources, it is not necessary for you to consume every single resource that I recommend. The core module and the workbook is the main thing that you need to consume. So make sure that you consume that 2.5 hour video. I'm going over the slides. I'm talking you through it. We're having discussions. The replay will be there. The extra resources. So again, here's a really nice webinar about the role of senior leaders in digital comms, for example. That's extra learning. It's not mandatory that you consume everything, because I want to put the extra resources in there that after your 12 weeks that you can go back and you can use this hub as a resource to help you in your day job. I'll also have case studies as well from public sector pros around the world. I'm always interviewing people and asking them to talk to me and make it into a case study. So I use these as teaching opportunities. So the hub is very responsive. All the replays, all the extra resources are in there. If there's any other events that I want to invite you to, I'll put them in the calendar as well. So make sure that you check the calendar. You get your personal login details. The one thing that I would say to you is make sure that you get your IT department to whitelist our email address. And that is info@publicsectormarketingpros.com, because we issue the login details from the system, because I cannot see your password. This is for you. You can also update your profile, add your profile photo as well, and your details. But the system, our learning management system, issues the username and the password. So we won't be able to change the password for you. So you need to whitelist our email address. So if we go into spam, take us out of spam, and just make sure you give your IT department the heads up. If you've completely lost it, we can resend it from the system. Okay, so that's the Learning Hub. Everything that you need over and beyond the live classes and the live coaching will sit in there. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. It starts on Friday, the 19th of March. I chose a Friday because I would like you to, I recommend that you do this at work. This should be done as part of your work time. And I thought, well, when can we take, 2.5 hours out of somebody's day? And I thought at the end of the week would be better. I mean, you could argue that you're going to be exhausted on a Friday, but I'm going to do most of the work. I'll bring my energy and my enthusiasm. But what I would say is block off your Friday afternoons, give it to yourself, give it to me, and let us learn together. And let me take you through it step by step, and I'll take you by the hand. I'll drive it. But I really do recommend that it is done as part of your working week. And I thought maybe it was easiest to block off a Friday afternoon for that, when potentially it's quieter. But have tea, have coffee, I'll bring the enthusiasm. I will be able to bring the energy, and it'll be a safe space for all of you. And if you can't make it, of course, you have the replay. The cost then for this program is €2,500. There are discounts for subsequent team members within organizations. I can talk to you about that separately. This is It's a really good course. You are learning so much about all aspects of digital marketing for your organization. And that single investment, remember, covers the core course. It covers the accreditation. It also covers the grading of your assignments, and it covers the live coaching. And then after those 12 weeks, you then have another 9 months where you can access all of the resources. And remember, you still get access to that live coaching for 9 months. So even though you've graduated, your program's done, you're kind of settling in now to being part of my community for a year, you still get access to me and all of the resources that I'm putting in that hub for a remainder of the 9 months. So it's a full year that you get for your investment. The registration for the program is now open at publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma. That will bring you to the exact landing page where you can register. If you still have additional questions, you can still speak to me separately, privately, send me an email to let me know, info@publicsectormarketingpros.com. And again, if there's other members of your team that you want to enroll. We have had about 47 people come through and graduate from this program. And here are some of the testimonials that you can see here. They came from finance, they came from the Marine, they came from government departments, they came from citizen services, they came from European institutions, they came from local government, broad range, policing, broad range, education, health, broad range of public sector organizations. So there are some of the testimonials. Practical, love the structure, informative. It hits the mark, just what I was looking for. Love the templates. People love my templates and my workbooks and the policies that are there. So kind of everything that you would need for your organization are within the program. And also the fact that the content is available in different formats. But here's Fiona. Don't listen to me, have a listen to Fiona. She is a graduate and she works with the EPP group in the European Parliament as campaign and events manager.
So Fiona, considering that you've completed the diploma but been working in the European Parliament for many years, life has changed for you and work has changed for you. And in fact, you described it as complete digital transformation. How was your experience with the diploma and then applying those new digital skills to your role?
Well, Joanne, as I mentioned, when I started working 35 years ago in press and comms, I sent telexes on bands of paper. So you can imagine what a transformation it is for someone like me. Obviously, I source training for members of the European Parliament and for staff of a large press team. So I need to keep them up to date with the latest trends. They're constantly being upskilled, to move with this digital age. In my case, I found the diploma fantastic because it does give you, as you say, the digital mindset first. So now when I think of comms, I realize all communication is digital. So even traditional things that I might do, like sending long emails, I now think, can I put that in a video? And, it facilitates my work, it speeds everything up. I can automate a lot of practices that I would have done in a far more traditional manner, if you like. So I think from that point of view, it's excellent. I'd recommend it to anyone. And I think everyone in our press team should follow it.
Fiona, thank you and congratulations, because I wanted to kind of speak to you individually because you're an example of how you have 90% of what you need in your job and it's just 10% of the digital element to kind of bring you forward, right?
Well, I have all the tools now, Joanne, and every application known to man is included, and your checklists are absolutely fantastic. So if you like, you've done a huge amount of the work. I have to say the modules amazing, and you've really showcased digitalization, if you like, with audio, video, and text files for everything. So, you know, thank you very much, because I can see myself doing polls and surveys and all sorts of things, and now I'm very motivated and inspired to start doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations on your graduation.
So I think Fiona is a great example for somebody who's worked, as she said, for so many years in European Parliament, in traditional press and comms, but who has totally embraced the waves of change and is now at the forefront and has that confidence and all of those skills to lead a large press and communications team right across 27 member states. And so, yeah, so it doesn't matter what level of knowledge that you have coming in. You don't have to be the expert. The opportunity here is to actually learn from me and to be led through every step of digital transformation that you need to bring back into your organization. And as she says, it's very practical. You'll get the academic, but you'll also get the practicals. So time for questions. Do you have questions or comments? I will point you to our website. So on the diploma landing page, publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma, if you scroll to the bottom, there's an FAQ section, and every question that I've ever been asked since 2018 about the diploma, I've answered it on that page. And obviously, as new questions are asked, I will absolutely update it. So questions from, you know, tell me about the accreditation, tell me about how this will serve me in my career. Can I have more than one team member join? What level of support is there? Tell me about the graduation. How does it work? So everything I've tried to put into this webinar, I've been asked before. But let me know if you have any other questions or comments. I hope I've covered everything. That was the whole idea, that I went back over all of my questions to see. One question that I often get, and it's, am I suitable for it? And the only answer to that question, don't worry about your level of knowledge coming into that. That's not for you to worry about. That's for me to bring you through it and to make sure that you understand it. That's my role as a teacher, a trainer, and I'm also a certified mentor. So I do have a qualification in that. So don't worry about that. The answer to that question is, do you want to upskill? Do you want to have a qualification in digital marketing that makes you a specialist in government and public sector? Don't fear the workload. Don't fear the content. I do pride myself in being able to explain what can be difficult concepts and frameworks into how you can practically apply it to your organization. So don't have fear around that. You know, do I have what it takes to take this on? You absolutely do. You absolutely do, because people join this at every step of their career. Maybe they're starting out, maybe they've been in middle management for 15 years, and maybe like Fiona felt that they were a bit behind. Like, her confidence, you can see it, and her drive. And as she said, she's inspired to bring that digital back into the organization. So the only answer to the question, is this for me, is what is your appetite for your own personal development in terms of your career and your knowledge and your skill set? This is a gift to you, but also what I would say to organizations who are investing on your behalf, this is also an investment into the organization. And I'm very, very clear about that. If you look at the workbooks, if you look at the quality of the content that I produce in every module, I keep saying, how do you apply this to your organization today? The organization can win with every single module. The applicability of the content and the resources, from the strategy, from having like a social media policy, from having a crisis management policy, all of that content is available within the hub. And this is all content that I would provide if I was a consultant. So you're getting, not only are you getting that consulting type content and material, you then are being taught how to be the consultant for your own organization. So it's win-win for you as a participant, as a student, but it's also win-win for the organization that is investing. And, you know, I understand government and public sector. I've written the book on it, and I understand value for money. And that is exactly what I provide. And so, yeah, so don't be afraid if you think there's a lot in it. It will demystify a lot of what you've been hearing about around digital marketing, and you will learn the best practices on how to apply it. I don't think you guys have any questions. I think people who've come before you, who've asked me all the questions that I've used for FAQ, have helped me to develop a very good behind the scenes tour. But if you want to talk to me separately, get in touch. You find me, well, everywhere, right? I've got a practice where I preach, but you can find me, drop me an email, info@publicsectormarketingpros.com. And, you know, if you want to continue learning with us and you decide not to take the course, that's absolutely fine. Because guess what? We have buckets of free content that we give out every week, especially through the Public Sector Marketing Show, on Wednesdays, on Facebook, on Tuesdays, YouTube, and on Facebook on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. And then the podcast on your favorite podcast platform on Thursdays from 8 a.m. and also our blog every week. And then I have a vlog on my YouTube channel as well. And I publish a couple of vlogs every week. So there's plenty of free information. But if you want to get certified, if you want to invest in yourself, apply the knowledge to the organization, then maybe this is something for you. Thank you, Sandra, for your feedback. And, you know, hopefully I hear from you guys. Get in touch. But if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And thank you so much for tuning into this behind the scene tours of the Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing for Government and Public Sector.